Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. This friggin' like 65 fucking degrees in the middle of, or the beginning of December. My body is like, I'm like, this is not supposed to be happening. This isn't right. Where's the 30 degrees and wind chill?
Oh, we got gusts. We're expecting like snow squalls, 30, 40-mile-an-hour gusts. And then next week, it's one day it's supposed to be like 52. So
So all that snow's gonna be melted.
the snow that we do get, yeah.
And just to put into context, you're how far from St. John, the Great Lakes?
Oh, one of the Great Lakes. I mean, you got Lake Ontario is probably 35 minutes away north.
No, so
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 you
you
know,
still get that rush off the Great
we can
Lakes.
get the lake effect from Lake Ontario
Or Lake Erie.
or Lake Erie, and that's an hour and 10 minutes west. And
Oh,
it seems the band is more if the wind comes from the west going east, that band is a lot worse.
Micah Hyde is back.
Is a lot worse than if coming down from the north. The north, like the dividing factor is like they really say like Interstate 90, which I know you're probably familiar with in New York.
yeah, I've heard about it. Obviously,
Oh,
haven't done
that's
much
like
on it, but
that's like they're really accurate. Like that's a dividing line, and I live like 2 minutes away from Interstate 90. So if they say north of the thruway is going to get this, I usually prepare for that because how close I am to it. And then, but there's been times where if you get like a northwest wind, we get both.
like you thought of events.
Or on top of that, then you got like your famous when you lived in Jersey was the nor'easters.
Yeah, right off the friggin' the ocean.
Yeah. Like we that still could hit us being this far inland too. So I mean, we've had probably a combination of we did back in '93 when we had that blizzard. We had lake effect, we had the storm, the nor'easter, and we were like the nucleus and just getting fucked.
Yeah, I remember. Excuse me. I remember that.
Micah Hyde is back.
Bills surprise signing. They just re-signed Micah Hyde.
Whoop, whoop.
Hi.
So since we're talking about football now,
Yeah, you heard it here, folks. Probably after you heard it everywhere else.
Micah Hyde, baby.
My wife's butt was bouncing, so I had to look.
Bills, you want to shout? Did you watch Bill's game?
I did not. I was stuck at work.
Oh,
It was a good game.
It was a good game, and it was like old school freaking football in the snow.
I did see parts of it, and I'm like, that's football right there.
Wait,
Yeah.
I'll send you a reel I sent Kelly.
She's gonna send you a reel. It's funny. It's got some sound effects to it.
It's like perfect sound effects and everything, and it's like a highlight of the game, of like all the touchdowns.
What are we going on? Week 13?
Yep.
Well, we just finished week 13. We're going on week 14.
Yep.
Okay, so first game of week 14, we have to talk about Thanksgiving games.
Yeah, we got the
Giants
third game.
We don't got to talk about the Giants.
Yeah, we know.
We don't talk about Bruno.
Yeah, we don't talk about Fight Club and we don't talk about Bruno.
Yeah.
See?
Giants own the number 1 draft pick, and that's what I'll have to say about that.
Don't talk about Bruno.
We know they lost.
We don't talk about Bruno.
The other games that happened on Thanksgiving, which was the Bears and Lions, and the Lions won on Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And I think that was a decent game. Caleb Williams played like crap. The Lions looked, they're having a hard time, but they did beat them. It wasn't a blowout, which I anticipated.
I have a question. Do you follow that Annie Anglar girl on Facebook? She every week recaps like
it's a
the
blonde
football game.
Oh, the blonde girl, and she imitates every team. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's hilarious.
Yes. Yes. I tend to watch her every week just because it's just funny, even though I don't watch all the games, but it's just funny the shit she talks.
No, she's good. Like, if TikTok is good for anything, it's showing funny people like that.
Can I say one thing?
Hopefully-
Can I say one thing? This
Sure.
is my wife. It's my wife.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Sorry I keep disturbing you guys.
This is my wife. She got pleasant hooters.
Take your word for it.
Somebody's gonna get Brandon.
And I'm glad I'm over here.
Okay.
I don't have the what?
The Thursday night game. Who played?
Well, we
Right?
mentioned the Giants losing to Dallas.
Yep.
Talked about Bears and Lions, and the third game was Miami versus the Packers at Green Bay in the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field.
Which Packers won?
Yes.
I know there was some controversy for the Friday night game, Chiefs and Raiders. It went into the Chiefs' favor. Kind of is what it is, kind of thing at this point. I did find out that the coach for the Raiders, Antonio Pierce, former linebacker for the Giants, he didn't get fired.
No.
He got fined $100,000 because he yelled at the ref, "Fuck you," 3 times.
I'm not saying I condone it, but I understand. It's worth it.
He was
It
pissed.
was worth it. No regrets.
No regrets.
Back out into the tundra.
Back out into the tundra, babes.
Be safe.
I gotta go back to work. Bye, guys.
Bye. Be safe.
Bye, Reggie.
Bye, Tiff.
I'm gonna throat punch you.
See you go, but I love to watch you leave.
Milk cups, Maverick.
No cup for Maverick. Then we go back into Sunday, which I think, we'll talk, we're going to, I think, maybe bouncing around a little bit. But I think one of the best games of the year happened Monday night.
Cleveland and Denver.
Yeah.
Yeah, that two.
Denver's
Well,
surprisingly
Denver's not
good.
bad.
Denver, I think their
Denver's
record, what is their record right now? 8-5.
Well, 8-5 now.
Yeah. It's Denver in the Chargers. I mean, they're in the same division, but they're sneakily good right now. You don't pay much attention because the Chiefs are taking all their glory, being the Chiefs, former, reigning Super Bowl champs, 11-1. And you got these two teams that are fighting their way to get wild card spots. There could be potentially 3 AFC West teams in the AFC playoff picture if things are going. I'm not saying they're going to go deep into the playoffs, but you don't want to play a divisional team in the playoffs. It's just a disadvantage for the, for example, if Chiefs have to play the Broncos, right, in the playoffs. But, then you got, not only do they play them twice a year, but now they got to play them one more time. They know the team the best. It creates some sort of havoc.
And with respectfully towards Kansas City, with the way they've been playing, they haven't been as dominant as we've seen over the last few years.
Nope. My bad.
And so, with the Chargers and the Broncos kind of like you said, sneaking up on there.
That's a good word to use too. They're sneaking up. They're just they're hovering right there to we're not going away.
Yeah, they're nipping at the heels, and they're like, "Hey, don't put, we're here. Be careful." And with as many teams like the Raiders, who aren't as good as either of those teams, are taking Kansas City to the limit. In the playoffs, if they meet the Denver, that quest for 8 might go down the drain. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Now we can go back to Sunday's games. Go back. The first 1 o'clock.
Colts and Patriots.
That went, I believe, went to the Colts. They won that game.
Yeah.
Did I pick the Patriots?
Yep.
Yeah.
And Pittsburgh beat Cincinnati, which you took. LA beat Atlanta, which you took.
Mag Tom.
Woo, woo. We both picked Seattle over the Jets. I know that's a shocker, but the Jets kept up with them. So
They did. Speaking of Jets, I think Aaron Rodgers is not the Aaron Rodgers of old. I don't think.
definitely not.
It's definitely the way I've seen he got the star-studded cast around him. He should not be doing what he's doing. So I think he should probably go out gracefully and then wait a year and sign with the Vikings. Kind of follow the path of his dad, the Favre.
The Favre.
Don't try to church it up. Don't you mean?
Texans barely beat Jacksonville.
And that was Jacksonville losing Trevor Lawrence to a nasty hit he took. He was going for a slide, took a hit, got taken out of the game with a concussion, started the fight. That linebacker that laid the hit got ejected. But yeah, the Texans survived.
Yeah. Can't go on losing to Jacksonville. Minnesota just squeaked it out against Arizona.
Arizona is a good team. I mean, it's I think I picked Arizona.
You did.
And they lost by it wasn't by a point. Oh, it was a point. That was the other game.
23-22.
So I mean, I think that should build some confidence in Arizona. I think they're on pace to win their division. Their division's not very competitive as far as really good. The records speak for how the teams are performing. I think the teams are better than what the records show. Especially with Seattle and Arizona. I think San Francisco is definitely a lost cause. At this point, going to 5-7. And then the Rams, I mean, they're going to be in there. So, I mean, it's going to come down to the final weeks of who's going to win that division, especially if those three teams stay relatively close. It's going to come down to divisional record and overall better. It could come down to just divisional record and tiebreakers. How that division's going. And that's going to be the only way how one of those teams gets in the playoffs. Has got to win division. The NFC has got some decent teams that there's no way another NFC West team is going to get a wild card. Not the way it's stacking up. Same goes for the. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Continue.
No, I was going to go on to the next game.
Okay. Washington spanking Tennessee.
Yeah. They said, they just saw the wax it.
And you know what? Washington, I think a lot of people are surprised that they're at 80-5 right now.
Yeah.
And, I know like everybody talks like Philly's the favorite. Washington, like, when you said, like you said, tiebreakers and, the visual records, if they come out tied, Philly will take it, but I could see Washington. Washington's been consistent. They've only lost to really good teams.
Yeah.
So I would not be surprised if Philly come week 16 are cinching that up and moving on.
I can see Washington getting a wild card. They're one of the teams posed, in a wild card spot right now. Because right now, the 3 wild card spots, I do believe, if it would end today, is Washington, Green Bay, and Minnesota.
And both are
not in that order. It's Minnesota's the number 5, Washington's number 6, Green Bay's number 6, Washington's number 7. and they're all got all winning records, obviously, but all very good teams.
Yeah, and Minnesota and Washington. I would say, like, if you would ask me last year, do you think Washington and Minnesota would be in conversation, not just for the wild card, but for the playoffs? I'd probably be like, I don't know.
I would have said no. Like, flat out, if you go based off strictly last year, it would have been no.
But now here they are, fighting
Yep.
for the top spot in their divisions, respectfully. And I'm like, good for them. It's not even like Washington taking an opportunity with the Giants and the Cowboys being dog water, but they're just good.
They are.
So who's not good? Carolina.
Nope, they lost.
Yeah. Field goal, but they lost. Saints and Rams.
Rams won.
Yep. That was a shocker, but
I think I picked the Rams.
Yeah, we both did.
On
the same page there.
So you're growing your beard up.
Oh, I've been growing it.
Yeah, this is
3 days. That's 3 months.
I shaved yesterday, asshole.
Philadelphia and Baltimore.
That game, I think one of us, we were split. I think I picked the Eagles, you picked Baltimore.
Yeah.
Because it could have gone either way, but Baltimore, they had an early lead, 9-0. I watched that game with my son. And Baltimore had an early lead, 9-0. And then next thing you know, it's 14-9. And then the second half, the Eagles only allowed the Ravens to muster up a field goal. And I think that put Philly as, I'm not saying, record says they're a legit contender, but that beating a team of a caliber like the Ravens, because I consider them an AFC contender as well, regardless of record.
They're a good team.
They're a good team. And Eagles handled them, especially in the second half. So, and that had to boost the confidence of the Eagles, Eagles. So, the Eagles are, are they a threat to beat the Lions? I think they do play each other coming up. That game might decide who's the number one seed in the NFC. Because right now it's with the Lions. They only have one loss.
Yeah. And, bias aside, being Giants fans division, of course I would want to see the Lions take out the Eagles. But, the Detroit seems like definitely on paper, and they've shown that they are the better, more consistent, cohesive team. They're not like all over the fucking place. You know what I mean?
If
when they win pretty dominantly.
Yeah, Philly's been getting better and better each week too. I think they have a lot of rookies and a lot of young players starting on this defense, and they're finally getting it, and they're really starting to come along. So that's scary too. That if you have a team that's offensively stacked, that has a very good defense, so it's like you get ahead, it's game over. Like you're not catching them, especially if the defense doesn't let up. So, but yeah, so Ravens, they got to go back and be like, hey, did they play a bad game? No, it's just that they got beat by a better team.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you can do everything right and still barely lose. And I think that's probably what it came down to. They were both doing everything right. But
24-20. 19, sorry, because, they scored that last touchdown like 4 seconds left. Did I count that? No. That's that you're just padding stats at that point, right? I mean, you had 3 or 4 seconds left to go for an onside. It was a long shot. I don't count that. I mean, it was 24-19, yes. but that score, that was 24-12. That's what that was. They won the less than a minute driving, and you score with 10 seconds left or whatever. That don't count in my eyes. It counts on the scoreboard, yes, but they gave you that touchdown as a gift. Like, oh, here, give it to them. These damaged people.
It's Thanksgiving. We're being generous.
Yeah, that wasn't. Hey, you finally figured it out. It was too late. That was the Eagles being like, it's already in the bag, and there's like 10 seconds left.
All right, the snow game. Buffalo and San Francisco.
35-10.
Yeah.
That game, I watched it. Not to be a Buffalo biased here, but that game, the Buffalo had total control. Not total. Well, they had total control going from the second quarter on. That like in the first half, each team had over 100 yards rushing, but then just Buffalo's offense. Just San Fran they're not the same team of old. They lost 2 players. I think both their running backs, Mason and McCaffrey, are getting placed on IR. If I read that article correctly. Buffalo's a juggernaut. If I'm the AFC, I'm not, I'm paying attention to Kansas City because how they're finding ways to win. Buffalo is winning. Excuse you. Buffalo is just winning.
Yeah, if I was Kansas City, it's Buffalo. First and foremost, need to be worried about.
And that me and you could say that Buffalo and Kansas City are going to meet in the playoffs. The only way, if it ends today, they're Kansas City's number 1 seed, Buffalo's number 2. The only way that those two can meet is in the conference. If the team doesn't get knocked down in divisional, but that'll be the only way they match up. Would be an AFC conference game if the playoffs ended today.
With the way they're both playing, and let's be honest, Kansas City they had some squeakers, but they're a good friggin' team.
Yeah, no, I'm not taking nothing away from saying. It's just I don't want to be ahead of Kansas City by like 4 points and then leave them time on the clock when you got Patrick Mahomes back there.
No. Kermit's going to come back and friggin' make you pay for
Buffalo did the right thing a few weeks back when they played. Is they made it a 2-possession game with like 2.5 minutes left. And it's like, okay, have fun coming back from that. And then they say it was too much. Patrick threw a pick, game over. See, but if you give them with at least, if it's 7, if it's for game tying or game winning, forget about it. They're going to come back, they're going to march, they're going to get the score they need, either win the game or tie it up to force overtime. But if you're playing Buffalo right now, I feel sorry because Buffalo is going out there and winning, and it's convincingly. I mean, the past, Buffalo's averaging, I think, well over 30 points a game. If you break it down,
they're just dominating.
And everybody picked either the Dolphins or the Jets to win the game or to win that division. And Buffalo wrapped it up. They won their division last week by beating San Francisco.
Yeah.
Week 13, they already got declared AFC champs.
Yeah, and where are the Jets and the Dolphins now?
The Dolphins are fighting for wild card contention. Buffalo wants to play to maintain their seeding or get better. I wouldn't let off. But
definitely.
They're not going to drop lower than 4 if they happen to lose any more games because they're already declared division that puts them, between 1, 2, 3, and 4 for playoff spots. And me, I would want to be number 2 just because I think bye weeks you lose momentum. Because you think it's got in the bag. Sometimes they rest starters, and the starters don't play for a couple weeks. I've seen it a few times where it's really backfired on teams, and I think you play starters regardless if you got something wrapped up or not, just to keep momentum. Though it's you could take mental reps all day, but I think you and I know both it's nothing like taking playing actual reps, going out there and playing.
Yeah, you play the way you practice, right?
Right. And if you're not practicing,
And if you go into that last game and you're ahead 20-9 or something like that at halftime, if you want to take the starters out and let them rest for a quarter or something, that's fine. But you got to keep them warm. You got to keep them hot.
right? And that's the thing I've seen, teams do in the past where they, oh, we got the number 1 seed locked up, so we got a bye week. No, the standings are not implicated by if they win or lose the next game, so they rest starters, right? And it's not a bad decision if you want to get, your second and third string people snaps and let them play, right? Nothing wrong with letting them play, but they're not the people that are going to win you the game when it matters the most. Right now, this is December football. This is the most important time of the year in the season, right? If you're going to get hot, now's the time.
Yeah, and like I said, if you want to sit them down for half a quarter, have the second string guys out there just so they start getting warmed up and having reps going into the playoffs, that's a great decision as well.
Yeah.
You got to keep everybody loose and ready to go.
I've seen one thing happen where their team thought they were ahead enough. They pulled their starters. The other team started coming back. They put their starters back in. They go, oh, no. You're not coming back on us that easy. And had the starters go out and score one more touchdown. Just to kind of be like, no.
Stop it.
Yes, stop it. You are not good.
Get back down there where you belong. Kind of touched on earlier Denver and Cleveland.
That's probably going to go down as one of the greater games of the year. Minus Jameis Winston throwing 2 pick sixes, but if you take that away, he played his heart out. You didn't expect. I think we both picked Denver to win that game.
We did.
But I wouldn't expect it to go back and forth because one play there was like a 70-yard touchdown. The Browns respond for their own 70-yard touchdown, and it's just like, holy shit! Like, I expect. Yeah, they both teams. I mean, obviously they both did, but the one team that you didn't expect to do, they have a different energy with Jameis Winston under center since Deshaun Watson got hurt. They're not. They won one game, yeah, but there's a different energy now. They're being a little more competitive. If they're losing, it's losing by a possession. It's not losing just, by 3 possessions. It's they're losing by a field goal. They're losing by a touchdown. It's one possession is deciding the game. Now they're playing. I see a little more heart out of this Browns team, and they're making games exciting.
Yeah, and if you're in the position where you're Cleveland and you're 3-9 now, yeah. Obviously you're not fighting for a playoff spot, a wild card. It's not going to happen. Play to fuck with other people.
Well, yeah, why not be that team to be spoilers, to fuck up seeding? If they must win this game to get into the playoffs. Cleveland's like, you know what? Fuck you. Be that uncle at Thanksgiving dinner. You know what? Fuck you.
Yeah, be that uncle that brings up politics at Christmas. If Santa brings gifts, I don't. This is fucking Cleveland. We're gonna ruin your shit.
We're bringing a whole lot of hostility and chlamydia.
We're gonna burn you one way or the other.
With a touch of penicillin.
And it's expired.
We care, though. It shows that we care.
Yes,
we're trying.
We're day by day. We're trying to get
become better.
Yeah. All right, so week 14.
Fuck. It just seems like a couple weeks ago we started this thing on week 1 and 2. We're making our predictions. Now, Hey, before we get started on week 14, we did our way too early Super Bowl predictions. What is your thought on it? Now that we're 3/4 away through the season, you're starting to see, stars align.
I'm gonna go on a limb, and thankfully Katie's not in the house to hear me. If I were to pick right now, Detroit Buffalo.
That was my thinking too. Like I'm thinking of Detroit Buffalo Super Bowl, like just right now, boom. It's because I
could also see Detroit, Kansas City.
I know my pick was the Ravens, but the Ravens shown they can be beat. Right? I mean, they've been beat 5 times. Not saying they're this juggernaut, but you get the Ravens are, you stop the run game, limit them to just pat, you force Lamar to throw, you're gonna beat that team.
All right.
Oh, fucking drop me, you asshole.
Come on, what the fuck happened there? But I did not like it.
I did not like it. It was like surprising. Oh!
Like fuck.
Doc, I thought you said you were gonna check with your finger. Why are both your hands on my shoulder?
Yeah, I'm the worst dentist I ever fucking been to.
Where's fucking dentist ever? Dude, look at my mouth.
Open up and say So I wrote it down. Super Bowl predictions. I went Detroit Buffalo.
I'm going Detroit Buffalo. Changed my super early was Detroit Ravens. I'm going Detroit Buffalo now. I think this is Buffalo's year just to get past the Chiefs in the playoffs. Because the Chiefs are they're not dominant. I mean, the past few years they've been dominating, right? I mean, they're playing well, but they're squeaking by. You use that word squeaking. By a field goal, by this, if they get behind 2 possessions, and they don't have the firepower as of old, where they can take that shot down the field to a Tyreek Hill because he's going to get, you could score in 10 seconds with him. They don't have that anymore. So they're definitely a different team. Their defense is leading that team. Unless it's going for a game-winning or game-tying score. Then, you don't want to give the ball to Patrick Mahomes. Yeah,
and like you said before, like some teams they could walk into the play or get into the playoffs and they're boom dominating. People they're not. You can tell they're not playing well. They're not going to make it through. Obviously, it comes down to the championship round, but AFC, like you said before, Detroit, Buffalo, Kansas City, it will neither of them are going to drop out before the championship series.
No,
if KC dropped out, obviously it's going to be Buffalo. If Buffalo drops out, it's going to be KC. But they're both going to be there, and it's going to be decided there.
Yeah, and I would hate to be those teams that have to go into Buffalo, into Kansas City, and play. Because, mind you, the number 2 seed host the playoffs until they get knocked out, or unless they got to play the number 1 seed. So if Buffalo scores the number 2 seed, they get to play at home for 2 games in the playoffs. And who wants to play football in Western New York
in December,
January?
January, but even in December.
Yeah, in December. But who wants to do that? Who wants to go in there, right? I mean, no one. It's same with Kansas City. Kansas City gets cold as hell too. I mean, look at what they did with the Dolphins last year. It was like, what was it like? Fucking 0.
Yeah, we both went to basic training at Fort Leonard Wood in Missouri.
Yeah,
I was there from the September to February. I'm from the East Coast, Northeast. It gets cold in Jersey. That is a whole different level of fucking cold.
I was there August to December.
It gets fucking bitter. So I could only imagine freaking Kansas City on the fucking river, how fucking cold it could fucking be.
I say, with utmost respect to the one Missourian that probably watches this podcast, but fuck Missouri. 4 seasons
It's
in
either-
one day. Seen it snow, and then it's 80 degrees by 3 o'clock. It's like, what? What are you doing?
Who would live here?
Like, people choose here? People choose to appropriate here? Really? Really?
Like, fuck. How is it raining and snowing at the same time?
Home Alone 2 is on. Oh, Home Alone 1 is on. Sorry. Speaking of Home Alone, Joe Pesci, awesome.
Oh, yeah.
They picked the right people to try to play the burglars
Yeah.
in the first 2 movies. I'm sorry.
Since you bring up Home Alone, and it is December,
Don't
favorite
remember.
Christmas movie.
Favorite Christmas movie?
Favorite Christmas movie.
Die Hard.
Die Hard. Not a Christmas movie. And honestly, like, I understand there's a Christmas party. It takes place during that time. So if anybody that considers Die Hard a Christmas movie, at this point, I have to continue the joke. I don't care. You want to consider it one? Go for it. But I will continue fighting everybody. I'll take it to the grave that Die Hard is not a Christmas movie.
Just Die Hard. You're like, ugh. I said that as a joke. I don't, I guess, no, I've never been really asked, like, what's my favorite Christmas movie? Nothing on Lifetime. Those are getting repetitive as fuck.
That's the same story. Somebody quits their, 6-figure job in the city, moves back to their hometown, meets a girl, and then within the first hour they fall in love, and she sells freaking cupcakes on the weekends. Like, come on. And apparently the Christmas tree decorating competition is the biggest thing that happens in that town. Really? I'll send you a TikTok of the guy that freaking does those. It's freaking hilarious. But yeah, favorite movie.
I guess if I had to pick, I think, Home Alone's around Christmas. Do you consider it a Christmas movie? I am. You know what? Sorry, I'll have to say The Grinch with Jim Carrey. How The Grinch Stole Christmas, the Jim Carrey version.
All right.
I think if that's a little, I could watch it. It's funny, The whoever plays Cindy Lou Who, she's now a lead singer of a metal band. Never saw that coming out of Cindy. But the band's called The Pretty Reckless. If you didn't know.
And now I know.
Now you know.
Shout out to Pretty Reckless.
Fun fact, Snapple fact. Here you go. Kangaroos can't jump backwards.
I did not know that.
If you're ever in a position where you think you're going to get attacked by a kangaroo, or you see somebody, instinctively now you're going to yell, "Get behind them!"
I'll remember that next time I come across a kangaroo.
A few weeks, month ago, we got the hold kangaroo.
A baby, a jelly.
And there was one just laying on the ground with like balls out and all that, like you see in the pictures.
He just had that crunching himself.
It was just this like wildlife encounter. We paid it was like $50 for like 20 minutes for all of us to go in, and I was like, fuck it. It was fun. Got the whole certain different animals and the kangaroo, and they had this one white wallaby that was making some weird ass noises. But it was just cool. It was cool, right? And you got to sit next to a damn kangaroo.
Yeah. Did he have boxing going on?
No, he wasn't that big. Like, I mean, if he was down, like, hey, let's fucking go, bro. Let's go.
When's the next chance you're gonna be able to fight a kangaroo?
Well, I mean, he was just chilling. He was chilling. It was cool. It was, it was worth it. Kids were happy. You know. I picked up the tortoise.
Maybe because he couldn't get away.
It took like 3 hours to get in one position. I flip him around. You son of a bitch.
It took him 3 hours to go this way. You just pick him up, turn him around. Like, you motherfucker.
You know how long it took me?
It's going to take me 20 minutes just to turn around.
Oh, I'm still here. I'm just getting my shoes on. Raz, Nacho Creek. Oh, so Reggie.
Yo.
I'm still here.
Okay.
Sweetie!
So anyway, I would like to talk to you guys about a very important matter.
Uh-oh.
It's packs of wild dogs that control most of America's major cities. It's something that the news does not talk about very often, if at all, but it's a real problem. So be on the lookout for packs of stray wild dogs.
Packs of stray wild dogs.
So your little PSA for today, this week.
It's
And don't forget to spay and neuter your pet. Speaking of that,
it's a real thing.
it's dangerous.
You know, like yesterday, I shit out a squirrel.
I'm sorry, Joe. I think I need a chocolate squirrel.
Yeah, now I got this shit covered squirrel. Don't know what to name it.
All right, Lunchbox, let's get down here and get into week 14.
I'm here.
All right, gonna start week 14 off with a banger on Thursday. Detroit, Green Bay.
Detroit.
Me too. But it's gonna be a good game. I'll be surprised if it's not. Okay, I was making sure you didn't freeze. Sundays. Giants versus New Orleans in New Orleans.
Woo! Giants.
If there's a game that the Giants can win and completely screw up their picks, it would be this one.
I'm going to pick New Orleans.
You going with New Orleans?
Yeah, but now watch the Giants win.
Browns, Steelers.
Ooh, I think the Browns beat the Steelers in an upset.
Yeah.
That's Brick Tamlin. I burnt my tongue. Upset pick of the week.
Oh, I just burnt my tongue.
I'm going to put mayo in a toaster.
Whenever I think of that, you know Billy Madison, where Miss Livy's putting
Yeah, the paste.
Atlanta versus Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Great.
Kirk Cousins sucking right now.
The Raiders versus Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay. You do what you got to do. What you got to do, buddy.
What she doesn't know won't hurt her.
You picking Tampa Bay?
I'm not confirming or denying anything.
Looks like someone's not going to be the man that night.
Yes, dear. Yes, dear. Oh, yes, dear. Carolina versus Philadelphia.
Like, I know.
Should I just write it down?
Philly? If Carolina beats Philly, I'll laugh.
I'll be like, yes.
Well, we're not the only one that can get beat by them.
Jacksonville versus Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Jets versus Miami.
Miami.
Agreed. I have.
Think
Or
me and
did I
you
write mommy?
Huh? think me and you have been picking every team so far the same.
Yeah, the only difference was, I picked New York over New Orleans. I picked Pittsburgh over Cleveland, but it's been the same so far. Other than that, Seattle versus Arizona.
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 Did you see that comment, that chat?
What?
I sent a chat. It's like chat with everyone in the studio.
Oh, I saw a private chat. Oh. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
You know, to be different, I'm gonna go Seattle.
Fuck your couch.
Buffalo versus the
Buffalo.
Rams. All right, the Bears in San Francisco.
The Bears.
The Bears.
The Bears, the Bulls.
Yeah, you know, I have like zero faith in San Francisco now.
After getting completely butt fucked by Buffalo.
Yeah. In the cold, you know, I gotta go Bears too. All right, the last Sunday game. The Wales Vagina Chargers versus the Kansas City Chiefs.
I'm going with Chargers.
Ooh. Any reason why?
Divisional, 8-4 or 8-5. They're playing good ball. I think their running game is going to tire that defense out. It's going to be too much.
Too much to handle. All right. The Monday game. Cincinnati versus Dallas.
Cincy.
I was going to say the same thing. Just to be completely fucking spiteful, I hope Cincinnati completely destroys Dallas.
I do too.
Agreed.
Yes. That's it, folks. It's on the paper. It's official.
Ain't no going back now. Once I close the book. And I almost dropped the camera again. We're professionals here.
This is why Reggie doesn't do any OnlyFans for feet pics. He'll be dropping the camera too much.
You might get more than you're bargaining for.
Just remember, if you remember anything, Ricky Bobby, remember I spread my butt cheeks in Playgirl magazine.
I don't know if you heard about it or not, because I wonder the name of my concho.
Right? Just remember, it was in Playgirl magazine. Spread my butt cheeks as my concho.
I made a TikTok about 3 years ago when I was still in Jersey. And it was explain. Oh, look at the kitty. And it was like, the cat's just like, But it's like, as if like a guy that was never in the military asked what life was like in the barracks. It's pretty much like, yeah, I kind of spread my ass cheeks as my concho.
What was it like being in the Army? Have you ever tried to eat soup with a fork?
Have you ever put shit in your closet just to take it out again? Make sure you have everything, put it back, and then the next day double check to make sure you got everything. That's the Army.
That's the Army. Well, I got to run.
All righty, bud.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah. Pleasure's all yours.
It's always mine. Ripped.
But you have a great day.
You too.
Have fun at work. And talk to you later.
Yep.
See you
Yeah.
next warrior place, next warrior time, next warrior location.
See ya. Bye, folks.
Adios.